and Kerry to some extent. And I think that they must really just today throw themselves into it, you know, throw everything into it. It's very rare that a team can annihilate another team twice, you know, in such a short period. I mean, Kerry annihilated them in Munster, yet conceded 3 goals. And Limerick stood off them that day. Now, the problem with Kerry is their football is so precise, and their body language, apart from last year against Down, which was a very strange experience to see it, their body language, you know, just exaggerates when they come into Croke Park, and they play very ruthlessly, and they play with such precision that Limerick have really got to get stuck into them. And Limerick are capable of doing that to some extent, because we've seen in the past, you know, they've made it very difficult for Cork. I mean, a couple of years ago, they made it very difficult for Kerry. I mean, they fell off very, very badly, and I think that they are on a hiding to nothing today. But they could, you know, they could hang in the game if they really got stuck into it, because Kerry are vulnerable down the centre of the field. I mean, Kerry's midfield's mediocre, and their centre half-back is a real problem spot for them.
I saw some of the Limerick players during the week column complaining that they were being written off by the media and not being given proper respect and so forth. But I have to say, looking around Croke Park at the moment, I think the punters probably feel the same way about this match, because there is a very, very sparse crowd here.
Well, I was never going to attract a big crowd. Kerry don't travel much for quarterfinals or semi-finals. Cork don't travel, so unless there's a big Mayo following and a big Limerick following, we're going to have a very small crowd compared to the great atmosphere we had last night. But, you know, the Limerick players, of course they feel that they are a bit disrespected, but they're coming in on a bit of a high, whereas Kerry may have a slight problem with motivation for the game. Like, Limerick, despite the travails of the last game against Wexford and what happened with the last 3, they had made a very spirited comeback on at least 3 occasions in that game when Wexford looked like they were going to pull away from them. So
we feel that Limerick will be a good bit better than they were the last time we played them, because they were only finding their feet that time. It was their first championship game. We'd already played our first round game against Tipperary, so they have the advantage now of having played 3 games in the last 3 weeks, and you know, while we've been sitting twiddling our thumbs, I suppose. So we're expecting a big battle here today, and that's the way we're preparing for it.
Well, Maris, if you were to listen to what people say, there's nearly no point in your side turning up. So how do you get your lads right when you're hearing things like that?
I don't think we had any difficulty after the run of the qualifiers. This is our 4th consecutive game in 4 weeks. So we're really looking forward to just another game in our minds. You know, it's not the Munster Championship. You know, we've played 3 games in the last 3 weeks. So we're well into the routine at this stage. So you know, really looking forward to it.
Kieran Donaghy in the past. Tomas O'Shea for Kerry. Colm Cooper, precise passing from Kerry. Declan O'Sullivan faced by Pa Ranahan, and O'Sullivan goes round him. Declan O'Sullivan making a better angle for himself, and there is the lead point in this All-Ireland quarter-final. And it's come from Declan O'Sullivan in the 4th minute.
Yeah, lovely bit of combination on the old firm. Colm Cooper to Declan O'Sullivan. He's helped certainly by the slip from the Limerick defender. Gets by event.
They did draw with them in 2004 and the Munster final last year. They were only 3 points off Kerry in the final, and they put Kerry under serious pressure close to the end. Anthony Marr for Kerry. Now Kieran Donaghy out in front of Lucy. Here's Declan O'Sullivan. Goal chance for O'Sullivan, and he's put it over. It's one of the points about Darren O'Sullivan. He's had a great year, but he had a goal chance in Limerick on the 4th of June. Could have buried that, and he could have buried this in the back of the net, but they're happy enough with their 2nd point of the afternoon. 6 minutes in.
Beautifully weighted assist that time from Kieran Donaghy. Very well controlled by Darren O'Sullivan. Just
pulled up, and I think his hamstring seems to be gone. That's a bad blow for Limerick early on. Kerry play on. Brian Sheehan leaves it into Declan O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan slots that over. Easy for Kerry, but Limerick straight into the hands of Brendan Keeley, the Kerry goalkeeper. Now it's Ian Ryan. Goal chance for them. Kelly's in. No! He's hit the post. Stephen Kelly out for a 45. There was a touch on that as it went through. Was it from Brendan Keeley? Not converting them just now. Good kick from Keeley and a good catch from Brian Sheehan, his 2nd clean one. Paul Galvin. Kerry have been in the quarterfinals every year since they were introduced in 2001. Last year was their only time to lose one. Here's Colm Cooper as they try and lift the gears.
His work rate and movement is just top drawer.
And no problems for Brian Sheehan. John Reardon. Help from Stephen Kelly. There's a gap there, and Kelly going and gets away from Tomás O'Shea. Steadies down. They look for their first point, and they finally got it. In the 17th minute, their 7th scoring chance, and finally they've converted one, and they're only 3 back.
Yeah, that's a lovely angle of running that time by Stephen Kelly. Has the confidence to keep going beyond tackles. Backs himself with a great score from play, and that should do him the world of wrong.
Donncha Walsh. No pressure put on Walsh, and he's allowed to pick out Darren O'Sullivan. Stephen Lavin in front of him. O'Sullivan on that trusty left boot. It's a nice score. But Limerick not putting pressure on Kerry out the field. Donncha Walsh was all on his own, and the marking on Darren O'Sullivan wasn't clever either.
Not clever, but the movement is so good in the inside line. And one of the things I noticed about the Limerick full back line there.
Cooper just eases away from John Reardon. Well played, Tommy Stack for Limerick. Kieran Donaghy far too casual as that ball was played into him. Shawnee Buckley of Limerick. Open road in front of Seamus O'Carroll. He's extremely quick, one of the fittest players on this panel. O'Carroll steadies down, takes the shot and puts it over, and that's a really good point. And all their hard work all over the field paid off. Tommy Stack got out in front of Kieran Donaghy, and the result is a Limerick point, and they're back to 3.
Yeah, wonderful intercept that time by Tommy Stack at the back. Quick movement of the ball forward to Seamus O'Carroll, and he takes on the Kerry backs, goes at them, takes his opportunity, slides it inside the post. That should do Limerick the world of good.
If they can get these guys the ball, Collins, O'Carroll and Ryan, they will score. But so will this man, Darren O'Sullivan, and the rest of the 6 Kerry forwards. Declan O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan from way out, he's looking after it anxiously. It's going to drop short. Colm Cooper in there, helped away by... He's got some space on Mark O'Shea. Now Stephen Kelly scored their first point. They've just got 2 on the board. He spilled it and then tugged the jersey of Aidan O'Mahony, and it's a Kerry free.
Great intercept and tackle that time by Aidan O'Mahony on Stephen Kelly. Fabulous piece of anticipation.
Paul Galvin. Just the whole thing has gone very loose. Kieran Donaghy back to Galvin, and the marking is loose on Brian Sheehan. Sheehan for Kerry. O'Sullivan, oh, that was absolutely brilliant. He scored a real poacher's goal on the 4th of June. But what about that for skill from Darren O'Sullivan? He used to play soccer at an underage level for QPR in London, and that is obviously where he picked up this skill. That is wonderful. What a goal.
I think it was deliberate as well. I thought it was Ronaldinho for a minute. Just watch this, a beautiful pass, but flicks it with the inside of the foot. It's a magnificent goal from Darren O'Sullivan, and that's to his repertoire that he's had this summer. Wonderful goal against Cork. Opportunist won the...
He slipped as he made contact with that, and look at the distance he cleared the crossbar by. They needed that. The goal was a crushing blow. Donaghy gets it. Very little movement to his right. There's movement, though, from Darren O'Sullivan. Donncha Walsh there. O'Sullivan on his left boot. He was always going to try and shift inside to his left, and Marco Reardon was unable to get close enough to it. But O'Sullivan, 2 wonderful moments of skill in the last couple of minutes for Kerry. 1-6-3.
We might have questioned the fact that he was put in at corner forward today. I felt myself that he was better suited to the half-forward line, but he's creating havoc in there at the moment. He's alternate
option. Kerry looked to punish them. O'Sullivan's through. Darren O'Sullivan came off Lavin. A brilliant stop by the Limerick cornerback. Just how much he knew about it, we'll never know, as Colm Cooper looks to slot that over, but he's put it wide. Yeah. And he will not want to. Here's Declan. Away from Pa Ranahan, just not tight enough. Colm Cooper, Johnny McCarthy marking him, and Cooper slots that over. Simple score. 1-7-3. Cooper's first of the day. Not going to do it that way, unfortunately for them. Here's Anthony Marr. Kieran O'Leary back to Marr. Gap for Anthony Marr. It opens up. Takes his chance. Could have taken it even further, but At this stage, they just want to increase the daylight between themselves and Limerick. 1-8-3, first of the afternoon for Anthony Marr.
Yeah, it's far too easy for Kerry at the moment. They're very comfortable, and they're not being extended whatsoever by Limerick. And it must be said, Kerry aren't even playing at their best. They haven't got their A game yet. A fairly tough tackle, but I think it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's broken his collarbone.
Yeah, they've made the signal that he needs to go off this whole year, even though they've put together this great run in the qualifiers.
And, you know, they have set up their usual plethora of beautiful work points from play. But, you know, I would say that a Kerry A versus B team is a much more competitive affair than the first half we've seen here.
I suppose, Joe, in fairness to Limerick, you know, they've tried hard during that first half. They're trying to get into it, but you can see as the half goes on that they're beginning to see the inevitable themselves almost.
Well, the funny thing is I don't think they have tried hard. I think that, you know, if we thought that their great victory against Wexford would give them an impetus coming into this game, that was wrong. You know, they haven't tried hard at all. Kerry have won nearly every 50-50 ball.
Is it just that Kerry are not letting them near it?
Well, but in Gaelic football, you know, it's not like hurling. In Gaelic football, you can get stuck in, you can get close, and you can tackle very hard, and you can tackle in packs, and you can work all over the field. I mean, what you're seeing is Kerry are able to coast through the game, but in the areas where you can join battle and make life difficult for more vaunted opposition. I mean, we saw Limerick doing this to Cork in 2009. They really put them to the pin of their collar by fighting for everything. They haven't fought for anything, if truth be told, and it's just too easy for Kerry.
On as a sub last week against Wexford, not considered fit enough to play for the full 70. Here's Shawnee Buckley of Limerick. They need a barnstorming start to the second half. They might have it now. Stephen Kelly. They're looking for a goal, and Kelly slots that over. A delicate finish from Stephen Kelly, and it's just the start that Limerick wanted to the second half. They've created so many scoring chances. This one goes over from Stephen Kelly.
Maybe got away a little bit with over carrying that ball, but the direct and put it over the bar. That was an opportunity spurned.
But it's a very determined start to the second half by Limerick. Here's Stephen Kelly. Caught by Mark O'Shea, and Kelly takes the shot. That looks really good, and that's one of the points of the afternoon from Stephen Kelly. Great score, and just what they needed. 2 points in the second half.
60 opportunity, that was grossly negligent on the part of Limerick. They needed to put that ball down and put it over the bar. That was an opportunity spurned.
But it's a very determined start to the second half by Limerick. Here's Stephen Kelly. Caught by Mark O'Shea, and Kelly takes the shot. That looks really good, and that's one of the points of the afternoon. Won by Limerick. Here's Stephen Lavin. Owen O'Connor for Ger Collins. Collins has it. He's got away from Tom O'Sullivan, and a lovely score. And listen to the Limerick roar around Croke Park, and Ger Collins punches the air in delight. 3 without reply for Limerick. Touch on that, Donncha Walsh. No, they haven't been watching Declan O'Sullivan. Scored 2 points in the first half for Kerry. Here's Brian Sheehan now. Sheehan never going to miss from there. Slotted that over easily. And that is more like it from Kerry. They're first in the second half.
He's just been outstanding in many respects today in the way he has got a couple of lovely scores.
Tigerish play from Paul Galvin. Marco Reardon, just as he tried to catch it, was distracted by Galvin running at him at pace. Going at pace now is Tomas O'Shea for Kerry. Leaving Reardon behind, and O'Shea with the fist puts that over. More like it from Kerry. Posing real problems for the Limerick defence.
Yeah, I don't think they like the way they're staying away.
Massive kick from Scanlon. Breaks well for John Milan. Now it's Seamus O'Carroll, and a real buzz around Croke Park as O'Carroll goes through. He's so quick. He scored 1 already. Goes for the goal. A brilliant stop by Brendan Keeley. A very fine save. They come again though. Stephen Kelly. Kelly with Brosnan. Kelly over the top. It's a point for Limerick.